So when he started to find fault with me, once even in front of the whole assembly, he asked me to come in front of everybody, kneel down, and asked me to repent, to bow down and repent to everybody. But I thought to myself, there's nothing really wrong that I have done. There's nothing I should be ashamed of, nothing that I should repent. I thought he's only trying to get me out, just like the senior disciple. So I just, the tears rolled down my cheeks when I thought how much I'd given up to become his disciple, and yet this was the treatment I got. So after that, I made a phone call to my sister to TT some money. I decided to go back. So as soon as the money arrived at the bank, then I told him I wanted to go back. But when I told him I wanted to go back, he was a bit surprised, but he didn't react. And then this American monk disciple told him, you can't let him go off like that. If he goes back in robes, he will say unpleasant things about the monastery, and people will believe him. So he said he's got to disrobe to go back. So the master shouted at me to take off my robes. I kept quiet. When he shouted at me a second time, I told him, I made a vow when I decided to renounce. I'm not going to take off my robe, I'm not going to disrobe. And then when he shouted at me a third time, then I told him, if you want me to disrobe, I'm not going to do it myself. You have to ask somebody to take off my robes. So he asked this American monk, and this American monk came and tore off the robe from me. At that time I thought to myself, this heavy karma that he's doing, he's going to suffer for it one day. Sure enough, a few years later, he was forced to disrobe.